Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new racer from RealAcc, and this is the Orange85, and this is nothing else than an upgraded version of the RealAcc Chaser 88 review some time ago. What are the main novelty here? First of all, we have a full prop guard, 3D printed, not carbon based, but at least we have a prop guard. They upgraded a little bit also models from 1103 to 1106, much more stronger, and 3S compatible directly. So now the Orange85 come in with 3S LiPo. It means also stronger motor, 3S LiPo. It will be more heavy, as you can see, but we still find the same time of modern electronics. So an F3 board is not an omnibus, okay? It's a more Pico one, more compact. No built-in OSD, unfortunately, but at least we have a built-in battery. That's very important for FPV racing, and we have some 10 ampere ESC with a 4-in-1 board and up to 15 in peak, compatible of course with a Bell LES and a D-Shot 600 ready. So let's discover this box. As you can see, no specific marketing on it. It's a basic one, probably to save some cost. Let's discover that. Okay, all the content of the box, just few elements. So we will find, I don't know why, we'll find a charger able to recharge 2S or 3S LiPo. It's Emax RCB3, very basic. Using the balance plug, you have this power cord associated with, and without any European socket for adapter, for example, so you have to give yours. We have a set of 4 yellow spare props. Pentablades model, some 9035 exactly, and using M2 X screws to be attached to the motors, and the battery, it's a 450 mAh with a discharge rate indicated to be a 25C, ending with an XT30 connector. That's great. From a CS, I think it's a good option. So you can use your own cable or own charger to have a better balancing. And finally, here is a quadcopter. So as you can see, it's orange. That's great. I like the orange color, and it's, I think, the best color to find a lost machine into tall grass. Okay, so we have a 3D carbon element, 3D, and I can measure the thickness of the 3D printed element. So it's around 3 mm of thickness, and attached to each motor on the lower part by 2 M2 X screws. Okay, in my point of view, I think with such weight, I will announce, if you understand, it will probably be broken relatively fast if you are crashing it into fast speed. Anyway, it sounds to be solid. Okay, so that's great. And for indoors application, I found out of the box that it's a little bit heavy in my point of view. No miracle with 3S compatible motor. So let's check the weight standalone without the LiPo. So we are already reaching close to if I center well the not sure I'm calibrated, yes, something like this. We're already reaching something. I will use another box, okay, because I'm not sure I will measure the right weight. Okay, let's measure that. We are already reaching 93.8 grams, so it's heavy. Let's compare with the Chaser 88, and I recently modded to add a better FPV cam, okay, and with the now the must-to mode to do with the Chaser 88, the installation, some Resistar 2035 quadri-blade props, stabilizing the stuff much better. So you can compare both. They are sharing more or less the same X structure, no problem. But now we don't have anymore the piece of foam, okay, protecting the bottom side of the Chaser 88, as you can see here. We have directly the 3G carbon element, and the thickness, in my point of view, of the arm are pretty narrow. You have something less, in fact, less than 1.50 mm to be more precise. I will measure here. It will be less biased in my point of view because the prop guard, we have only 1 mm. Oh, that's bad. So luckily we have the prop guard a little bit spreading the stress of a crash on the prop guards. But if I had a deep impact, I think the arm with 1 mm of thickness especially when we are already 93 grams standalone. So let's give the weight, okay, of the machine with the battery install. So let's double check that we are already 93.8 grams, and with the battery 135.5 grams is super heavy compared to the, for example, the chaser. Let's measure the chaser. So of course, I would say that for the chaser motor are smaller, some basic 1103 much more smaller, so less powerful, is not 3S compatible, okay, and I already also changed the IO camera for lighter and more powerful one, so probably my setup is now a little bit more lighter than the original chaser, but you can see we have already 30% more for the RealAcc 93.7, it's huge, and 135 in total weight. So definitively not an indoors flyers, okay. But anyway, let's continue to have a description. We have the FPV camera. It's a 200 milliwatts, no possibility to decrease to 25 milliwatts. It's either 0 milliwatts or 200 milliwatts. It's broadcasting the FPV signal in NTSC format, no possibility to turn into PAL, and we have the tiny button here. If you short press on it, you will cycle between the 8 current frequency inside the current selected band. Moderate press more than 3 seconds, you will select the current band. 40 channel if I'm not wrong, or 48, so between 5 to 6 band. Of course, rest band is supported, and if you very long press more than 5 seconds, you will be able to select the output power. When you have 0, it means you have 0 milliwatts, and when you have only 1 bar, it's the 200 milliwatts edition, okay. Good news, attached with the rubber band, like the camera, we have a tiny buzzer with 2 LEDs. They are primeable, so not scanner effect could be done, but just to indicate at least turning and throttle. A buzzer is here, so that's good to localize your lost plane. And here we have some aluminum standoff, okay, maybe they could be replaced with some more nylon one. And below we have a double layer board. The upper one is the Pico board, and as you can see, the USB cable is not directly accessible. You will need to remove the screws, okay, 2 basics M2S screw to remove to access to USB port is nothing but some little extra works. What's a pity is not directly accessible. Notice that the board is flash with Betaflight 3.1.5, and as you will see in few instants in my Betaflight default configuration video part, the D shot 600 sorry is not turned on by default, is 150. I don't know why. Okay, so it's not the last Betaflight version. Beware, like the chaser, if you attempt to flash with the Betaflight configurator, you may break your flight control board. Luckily, you have a boot button, boot pads to save it, but it's not yet advised to flash with a more recent Betaflight version. Be aware of that. You may break your flight control board. It's possible to save it, but we have to be sure first to have the original firmware, Betaflight firmware, probably specialized for this board. Okay, be aware of that. We have to be sure to have the X file available in Banggood, for example. So we have the USB, micro USB port, all the pad here for all the 4 motors. We have some here the serial port and configurations, and I don't see any extra free port available. And on the top, even not tape, we have the FierceSky receiver, you can see, and thanks to Twitter, you can access to the bind button. Is not trivial, okay, so be aware of that. And the 2.4 GHz antenna is installed horizontally, is not very good for propagation. I strongly advise after the binding procedure to install it more vertically. There is a way probably to install through the top 3D printed port. So the antenna, with right polarization, 4-leaf one, is protected with an aluminum bar. The golden one should be okay, and also installed on the 2 aluminum standoff. Should resist, but probably be banned during a crash, but no problem, you can rebend it correctly to retrieve the original shape. So use a tweezer to access to the FieldSky receiver, and to bind is classic power while holding this button pressed, and you will be able to enter on the bind button. It's a D8 FieldSky compatible receiver. Expected range is about 800 meters. I really doubt of it. I don't know yet if the RSSI and the voltage battery is monitored. We will see in a few instants. Okay, but sounds not so bad. And on the bottom side, okay, already pre-installed 2 rubber bands to attach your battery. I found that the XT30 battery cable is a little bit long. I will use more smaller one, but you will just install here. No Velcro band is provided to little bit secure to not allow the battery to slip. Okay, on the screws here. Okay, they are in some are on plastic to hold the I would say mini cube here, but maybe add some Velcro band to soft the bottom side for the battery. Okay, so now I think I will show you how to bind it. Okay, and then enter into the default Betaflight configuration. You will see they are really the default one, especially for the PIDs, and to optimize a little bit them. Then to conclude with some demo flight. Okay, here is a binding procedure. So use a tweezer to gently shift underneath the 3D printed upper plate the FieldSky receiver, and then access to the bind button here. Okay, you can see that. So you can gently use your fingers around to block your receiver and to press bind the receiver. Then gently try in the same time to insert the battery connector like this, and XT30 connector. Okay, and while holding the bind button, then you can enter into the bind of your radio. Here for me it's a devil. Then we press bind, and the receiver light should stop to flash, and after a couple of seconds, if everything is okay, this resume to flash. So now what you have to do is to turn off everything. Okay, so disconnect the battery, disconnect the radio, then reconnect the battery of the Ratching Orange. It's not a machine, it's a real IC, sorry. RealAcc is nothing else that better brand than a machine in my point of view. And I should have a solid light, okay, no problem. If I'm not wrong, so it's bound. I have a solid LEDs here on the top of the receiver. Hope you can see. Let's check that some telemetry information are shared. Nothing is shared. So okay, so let's check the RealAcc Orange86 default Betaflight configuration. So we connect. Okay, and let's check immediately the default version installed. So this is here. Version 3.1.5 for Pico BLX board. So I remind you to not upgrade to the most recent Betaflight version until we are not sure that it's still using the default Betaflight firmware. Maybe like the Orange85, we have a specialized optimized Betaflight firmware installed. So if you don't want to brick it, don't flash anything else actually. So let's check a little bit the setup, but before it's strongly advised to dump all the elements, okay, to a text file, copy this file, okay, all this information, and save that into a text file. Okay, be sure of that. You will be able to reload the default configuration. So let's check the setup. We have to reconnect one more time. And let's check the port. What we have the USB VSP for sure. Strangely, we have two in MSP. We don't have any USD, so I don't understand well. But the most important, at least for the receiver, we have the UART return where the serial is turned on. Okay, for the S-bus configuration for the FieldSky receiver is very important to check that. Let's check the configuration. We have a quad X architecture for sure, and as we saw in the unboxing, the board is flipped of plus 45 degrees. Don't forget this if you we'll be able one day to connect to flash a new Betaflight version. And surprisingly, the default D shot is the selected is the 150, not the 600. So I will select it immediately. Okay, and since I don't have any battery connected, we can't see yet if the battery is monitored. But for the receiver, we have obviously a serial receiver selected, and this is more S bus 1. We are actually monitoring the VBAT. Okay, we have this value of minimum cell, so we will see if the battery is strong enough. If under load there is no swagging, this value will be right, or we'll have to decrease a little bit these values. Actually, the system configuration is turned to 8 kilo for the gyros, 2 kilo for the main PID loop. So maybe probably we will be able to increase to 4 kilo for the PID loop. Let's check now the default other features. Surprising, we have the servo tilt, so I will turn off everything. I will turn on telemetry because I was not sure that the value was sent, and maybe because the telemetry information was turned off by default, and the LED strip is turned on. That's important. So let's save it. Okay, we will have to reconnect. Okay, connecting. What's happened? Okay, so let's check now the phase safe configuration. We have the classic drop. Okay, I will just decrease this value to drop a little bit faster. Okay, and then I will reconnect, connecting automatically. And let's check the PID settings. And what we have, it's a classic Betaflight default PID setting. So these values are typical, the common default one. The rate also, so no specific adjustment have been done. And the stress, for example, for both angle and horizon mode is also the default one. So what we can do, I will leave these PID values until the demo flight, but I will change a little bit the rate to have more an acro flyer compatible machine. So I will increase to 104. Okay, and here a little bit more to be around 800 degrees per second. Sorry. For the YAR command, I prefer to have more linear behavior, and I will increase the accelerator to and decrease this value to something around 34. Okay, and 33 to be more precise. I have around 600 degrees per second. The level strength, I will decrease it to 25. Okay, that's right, and I will save the default values. Let's check now the receiver. So actually nothing is visible. I need to power with the battery to power the receiver. Okay, and I will turn on my radio, and as you can see, my quadcopter is moving because I've got a wrong channel map assignation. So I will turn to Futabai high-tech mapping, so starting with aileron. And good news, my channel seems to be already centered to 1500, so no real subtrim adjustment required. I will apply in any case a deadband of 4 for both the yaw and the RC. Okay, I can see that my two-way is the aux2 and the three-way is aux1. Okay, I will save that. Now let's check the different mode, and immediately I can see that the horizon angle mode is when your three-way switch is on the bottom position, so in switch 2. Okay, and it's usually the inverse, should be in switch position 0. So, and the horizon is good, but it means that when you are in switch position 0, you are in acro, so be aware for beginners, could be problematic. So what I will do, I will delete this one, and or I would say more adjust like this, and I will now have the air mode for both the horizon and the acro. So air mode will be turned on for both horizon here and acro here. Okay, I will save. So I can see by default now when the switch, flight mode switch is on upper 0 position, I am angle, then horizon plus air mode, then acro plus air mode. The beeper is well correctly configured by default as aux2. That's great. And let's check a little bit the default LED strip. Two lights, and by default they are indicating the left. Okay, here indicators turn on. No Larsen scanner effect can be possible, and you cannot be at the same time indicator and throttle indicator. For the the right one is also on the right position. Okay, so nothing to change. Maybe if I would double check the configuration, check that I will turn that to 4 kilos, because actually the CPU load is to 20. Let's check at 4 kilo what will be the CPU maximum load. Okay, connect, and we can see that we are just reached 26 degrees, so should be a perfect, no problem at all. Okay, and D-Shot 160 is turned on. Let's check if we can hum. Yes, it's arming, no problem. So D-Shot is working. So now let's check in the field how will be this machine. Hi, welcome to the first demo flight of the new RealAcc Orange85, so the deluxe Hatchin product, based more or less on the Hatchin Chatter 88 with the Pico BLX Flight F3 boards, some strong 1106, and as you can see I installed more vertically rear the 2.4 GHz of the FierceSky receiver, 1935 5 pentablades props, okay, in 3S setups and with an XT30 connector. So I will start the small flight, okay, maybe first in lost conditions, then turn into FPV. So let's go. Okay, so I will power the machine, and the XT30 connector is a little bit long in my point of view, and be sure to secure the installation, okay, especially of the balancer plug, to not be trapped into the props like this. Okay, and turn on the radio. Okay, and I say to the E4 only NTSC format I will record. Great, and let's check that. So wow, it's noisy. Let's see a pump. Well, not bad. So in 6-axis stabilized. Yes, flying well. Sounds to be powerful. Okay, let's see in acro. Not bad. Okay, so let's see. In pure FPV you can see the LEDs. Left, right, not bad at all. Okay. New run. With this time I installed the RSL Star 20 to 35 props, quadri-blade only, but I think much better balance, and I should have less jello because mainly the Penta props sometimes are not well correctly installed, so you can introduce extra jello. But in any case, with this one, no real doubt how to install them. In theory and according to the experience I have with them, I should offer less jello. So let's go in FPV.